How the did Miss 12-year-old little Sabrina get to China to perform? I could not tell you. I could not tell you. Hi, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well, especially if you have been enduring this insane heat wave that has been going on. Today, I bring you a presentation on Sabrina Carpenter's career, life, rise to fame, etc, etc. Miss Sabrina has been in the public eye for over 10 years now. She really has that career on slow cook, and now the pot roast is ready. It's been marinating for a while. I don't know what this metaphor is anymore. I feel unhinged today. My head hurts, my stomach hurts. I've popped a Pepto-Bismol and 3 Motrins 20 minutes ago. I'm working overtime this week, so really it's truly amazing that I'm sitting here today recording this video. Forgive me if this video isn't embellished with details. I tried my best, and that's all I have to offer. Sabrina is an ex-Disney actress, pop girly, our little coquette. I don't know why I said that. She's not a fried potato. She is our coquette Barbie Bratz doll, young Hillary Clinton looking boots down diva slaying pop princess. She is someone that I think most people around my age have known of for years. Like, I knew who she was from watching the Disney Channel when I was a kid because she did some guest roles and then went on to star in Girl Meets World. But for me, she wasn't really someone that I followed. Like, I knew of her Disney show, but I didn't watch it. And she didn't really occupy any brain space of mine until the driver's license stuff happened, and then that wave passed, and then again when her album Emails I Can't Send came out. Over the last few months, Sabrina has sort of blown up. She's becoming more and more well known. She just released her second single called Please 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 off her upcoming album Short and Sweet, and she's sort of taken over TikTok. So today I'm going to talk about her life and her career. And if you are new to this channel and you like deep dives, commentaries, rankings, and recaps, you should subscribe to this channel. So Sabrina was born on May 11th, 1999, and she's from Quakertown, Pennsylvania, which for the longest time I thought was the birthplace of Quaker Oats. Boy, was I wrong. She has 3 older sisters, and she's related to Nancy Cartwright, who is Sabrina's dad's sister, and she is a very famous actress, most well known for voicing Bart Simpson in The Simpsons. One thing that's interesting to note about Nancy is that she's one of the big Scientology people in Hollywood, which is, you know, Sabrina and her immediate family don't with that as far as I know, but you know, we've all got that one questionable extended family member, right? Sabrina did say in her Wired autocomplete interview that even though she and her aunt work in very different sides of the industry, she has gotten a lot of advice and guidance from just watching what she does. Sabrina's parents, however, do not work in the entertainment industry. I believe her mom is a chiropractor, and her dad apparently was in a garage band. I'm sure that's not his full-time job. However, that's all I was able to find out about what her dad does. And funny enough, when Sabrina was asked in an interview if she's ever listened to her dad's band's music, she said no. So perhaps she's implying that musical talent isn't hereditary. When Sabrina was 10, she started posting covers to songs on YouTube, her first one, which is still up, being Picture to Burn by fellow Pennsylvanian Taylor Swift. She had a passion from a really young age, like 6 years old, and her parents really helped her pursue that passion. Like, her dad apparently built her a recording studio in their home when she was little. Also, she was homeschooled, so that gave her the flexibility to really pursue her passions from a young age. Around the same year, in 2008 and 2009, she competed in Miley World Superstar, or the Next Miley Cyrus Project, which was an online singing competition run by Miley Cyrus where there were 3 semifinalists and then a winner, and Sabrina placed 3rd. I found an article from 2008 when she was being interviewed before the final round where she said, "I think I have a really good chance. Hopefully someday, maybe at a little girl's birthday party, they'll have my music on. That would be an awesome feeling." I just wanted to mention that because I think that's so cute. As for Sabrina's acting career, she started acting slightly after this. She started with the guest spot in Law and Order in 2011, as many actors have done. Then somehow, someway, she performed on TV in China during this year. And the only piece of evidence I have of this is this image. How the did Miss 12-year-old little Sabrina get to China to perform? I could not tell you. I could not tell you. So from that year, she started doing smaller roles, and then when she was around 12 or 13 years old, she broke into the Disney sphere. She got signed to Hollywood Records when she was 12, apparently. This is sort of up for debate, I guess, because I've seen people and other sources online say she was 14, but I found a quotation from her saying that she was 12 when she got a record deal, so I'm going with 12. I'm sure that the Next Miley Cyrus Project put her on the radar for people at Disney, and the way that the path path that Disney usually went, at least for leading girls, was that they would have some guest appearances until they were the star of their own show and or Disney Channel original movie, and usually that also came with a multi-album record deal with Hollywood Records. Miley, Demi, Selena, Bridget, etc., all had some sort of deal with Disney like this, and Sabrina presumably had a deal like this as well because her album deal with Hollywood Records was a 5-album deal, and she also started making some guest appearances before starring in her own show. Starting with a guest appearance on Phineas and Ferb for 2 episodes in 2012, she voiced Girl. The character's name is credited as just Girl. Her job was Girl, and that's beautiful. Then she voiced Princess Vivian in Sophia the First in 2013. Nothing to note here about the show because I never watched it. However, can we talk about the bangs on this girl? Like, not the bayang. Then she guest starred in an episode of Austin and Ally as this shy girl that was entering a singing competition, and I almost forgot that she did this guest appearance because she was in her redheaded era at this time. I think this particular role was also meant to expose her as a musician as well. During this time, Sabrina also recorded a song for a Tinkerbell movie, as other Disney girlies have done in the past, so she checked that box off. And then on March 14th, 2014, Sabrina releases her debut single called Can't Blame a Girl for Trying, written by Meghan Trainor. And honestly, if you listen to it again, it does sound like a Meghan Trainor song. It does. This was like a cute, fun, wholesome ukulele song that I'm sure many kids have learned. Little 14-year-old Sabrina's slayed that. Around a month later, on April 8th, 2014, Sabrina releases an EP of the same name, and then finally she stars in Girl Meets World as Maya Hart. The show premiered on June 27th, 2014, which was 10 years ago. Okay, so Girl Meets World premieres 10 years ago, and to this day, it is still the weirdest show on this entire network. The way the characters talk to each other in this show, the way the dialogue is written does not feel real. It does not seem at all like conversations that anyone could possibly have in real life. And I haven't watched the show fully, okay? I've only seen bits and pieces of clips, mere sporadic scenes of the show. But one crime that I absolutely have to talk about is this episode where a character named Farkle gets evaluated for autism, because he tells all his friends about this, including Sabrina Carpenter's character, and they're all like, no, you don't. You're gonna be okay, as if it's some terminal illness. And then I think after the evaluations, he isn't diagnosed, and they're all like, oh, what a relief. Like, what ableist bullshit. And this isn't a jab at Sabrina, okay? She did not write this show. I just felt compelled to give you an idea of what I know about the show because it is so off. There are 2 other things I want to know about this year. 1, apparently Sabrina dated Bradley Stephen Perry during the year 2014. He played Gabe in Glug Charlie, and I think recently on his podcast, he talked about dating her 10 years ago. I guess because of her recent rise in the mainstream, but it's kind of giving jobless celebrity, but that's neither here nor there. The other thing I wanted to know is that apparently in 2014, Sabrina fired her management and got new management, and this would come back to bite in a few years. On January 13, 2015, Sabrina releases Will Be the Stars, the single for her upcoming debut album, Eyes Wide Open. And then on April 14, 2015, Eyes Wide Open comes out and debuts at 43 on the Billboard charts and wins 2 Radio Disney Music Awards. And some of these songs slapped. Like, I just want to make it known, I'm gonna expose myself a little here. So every year Spotify does like a your top songs of said year playlist. I think they started doing this thing in like 2016 or 2017, and apparently in 2016 and 2017 I had some of her songs on my top songs list. What do y'all know about Sabrina Carpenter? Because apparently I've been eating up her music since high school. On June 24th, 2016, Sabrina's Disney Channel original movie Adventures of Babysitting premiered. She starred in this movie with Sophia Carson, who has still scarred me from Purple Hearts. Apparently this movie is about 2 photography, babysitter, rival girlies trying to find a kid. I don't know. This is just Sabrina fulfilling her prophecy as a Disney girly who has her own Disney Channel original movie. On October 14, 2016, Sabrina releases her second album, Evolution, which debuted at number 28. And for the longest time, like literally up until 5 days ago, I thought that this album title was called Revolution. After she released her second album, Sabrina goes on her first headlining tour, and then she releases a few more singles, and then goes on her second headlining tour, and then joins Ariana Grande as her opener on the Dangerous Woman tour. And it seems like at this point more and more people know of Sabrina, even though not all of these people are like into Sabrina. Then come January 20th, 2017, Girl Meets World ends, so her Disney Channel era is over. And in 2017, Sabrina, her parents, and her current managers were sued by her ex-managers. They, and this is so ridiculous, her ex-managers said that they were entitled to money that Sabrina had made after she had fired them. Like, she put out Can't Blame a Girl for Trying, and then she had fired her managers, and then she continued making money off of that music, and her ex-managers said that they were entitled to the money that she had kept making money off of after she had fired them. It just doesn't logically make sense, and the court ruled in favor of Sabrina, so she was able to get out of that situation, and she ended up writing a song about the situation on her next album called Sue Me. Around this time, Sabrina continued acting with the movie The Hate You Give, which came out in October 2018. Solid movie. She didn't really play a major character, but boy did she give some diabolical material.
And Black Lives Matter, girl, until you clutch your purse when you're in the elevator with the black person. You don't need to use the N-word and use a fire hose on black people to be racist, Haley. You're different, Star. I'm different? What, I'm the non-threatening black girl? Yeah. You are.
On November 9th, 2018, Sabrina releases her third album, Singular Act 1. It unfortunately didn't do well. It debuted at 103rd on the charts, and honestly, I think this is largely the label's fault. Now, I'm pretty sure that Singular was split into 2 albums because Sabrina was trying to get out of this 5-album deal because the label was doing a pretty bad job with marketing her. She then goes on her third headlining tour and releases Singular Act 2 just 8 months later on July 19, 2019. And this one did even worse. It debuted at 138, even though personally, after listening to it again, I like it more than Singular Act 1. I just like the R&B vibes more, and I also felt like the music was more honest and vulnerable. Like, Exhale by Sabrina has been in my playlist for a long time. But yeah, at this point, Hollywood Records doesn't seem to be a great label. They're evidently not doing a lot to promote Sabrina, just not doing a lot in general for her and her career, and can be attributed to one of the main reasons why Sabrina had to go through this slow rise to fame. At least one of the reasons why she wasn't getting the mainstream success that she is now getting. And one might ask, well, isn't Hollywood Records the same label that brought Miley, Demi, and Selena up? Even though they were restricted, they played a huge role in molding this innocent Disney image for the 3 of them, and then they were able to break out of that image, and the seeds were still planted for their success at this label. So why wasn't the same happening for Sabrina? And I think this can be explained by the fact that when Miley, Demi, and Selena had started releasing music, they were already established as the stars of their own shows or Disney Channel original movies. Sabrina, while one of the main characters of Girl Meets World, wasn't the star of Girl Meets World. I think the star would be Rowan Blanchard. But also, as she was on the Disney Channel, the only album that came out while she was on the Disney Channel was Evolution. Sabrina's debut album came out before Girl Meets World premiered, and also her Singular albums came out after her Disney era had ended. So I feel like, as opposed to the Disney girls I mentioned, the momentum of her show didn't really help her in promoting her music. Also, coupled with the fact that Girl Meets World just didn't have the impact that shows like Hannah Montana did. Like, it just did not. The Singular albums, though, would be Sabrina's last albums with Hollywood Records. Oh my god, guys, I just want to say that I keep having to repeat what I'm saying because I keep saying signal instead of single, and it's driving me insane. I don't know what is wrong with my brain right now. Anyway, in the years 2019 and 2020, Sabrina mainly focused on acting. She released one She released one single on February 14, 2020 called Honeymoon Fades, but that was really it. And this song was apparently about her relationship with Griffin Gluck, whom she dated in 2019, and she met this man making the movie Tall Girl, and Tall Girl premiered on Netflix on September 13, 2019. Tall Girl is truly so diabolical because the whole premise of the movie is that this girl is 6'1" and therefore she is a minority. She is like 2 or 3 inches taller than Zendaya and Taylor Swift, and she is marginalized for that. Sabrina plays the main character's hot, confident, shorter, older sister named Harper. You know, that movie was such a trip, definitely a crime that I feel personally victimized by, but Sabrina gave us camp in this movie in a way that I truly don't think we talk about enough.
Playing Pokeball's cannon on wine glasses may have been enough to win Team Miss New Orleans.
Cool. So, I'm ready to go all the way.
Then let's get to work.
Jesus, Harper! You almost killed me! Hey, bro, do you want this or not?
So that was 2019, and then in early 2020, it was announced that Sabrina would be joining the cast of Mean Girls on Broadway as Katie Heron. This was her Broadway debut, which was huge for her, and her debut was set for March 10th, 2020, and we all know how the world shifted by the end of that month. So Sabrina played Katie for 2 shows until everything was shut down because of the global panorama. And because of that, really the only other big thing that year for Sabrina was this other Netflix movie she did called Work It, starring her and Jordan Fisher. Now, this is a movie that I have also talked about on this channel, and I'm going to emphasize what I said before about this movie, and that is, I get it, Sabrina. Go get your bag, because this movie is about a well-rounded straight A student that gets into Duke not by like test scores, essays, grades, and such, but by dancing, which is unfortunately not the worst plot we've gotten from Netflix. I do think that using these 2 years to pursue acting projects was a very smart move on Sabrina's part, because it got her exposure to people that may not have known her from Disney, because as much as I personally don't like these movies, it did do really well on the streaming platform. But there is something else that started around the time that Work It came out that had yet to become a huge thing, and that was Sabrina's relationship with Disney actor and singer Joshua Bassett. And before I get into the August Betty James plot of it all, this was truly a shitty situation for every person involved. There is not a world in which I would ever condone the hate that any of these 3 people got, especially over relationships that we know nothing about. I am not and will not play into the game of Olivia versus Sabrina, and I implore you all to be wise and do the same. So in the summer of 2020, Sabrina and Joshua were pictured hanging out on multiple occasions. They were pictured at a Black Lives Matter protest together. They were pictured going on lunch dates together. Joshua also released a song that summer called Anyone Else, and Sabrina was rumored to be the girl he was holding hands with in the video. They also later in the fall did a matching couples costume as Shark Boy and Lava Girl for Halloween, and the tea was that there was at the very least some emotional cheating on Joshua's part, because he was in a relationship with Olivia Rodrigo right before this. But of course, this would be more niche drama on the internet until January 2021. On January 8th, 2021, Olivia Rodrigo releases her debut single, Driver's License. At this point, Olivia's fan base was relatively small. It was just people who knew her from her Disney shows like High School Musical, the series, and Bizarre. But this song gained so much traction on TikTok in a way that I had never seen before, and suddenly everyone was invested in the song, in this relationship, and this drama, and people were angry specifically at Joshua and Sabrina. Not because of anything bad Olivia said about Sabrina. Like, the only line that alludes to Sabrina is the line, "And you're probably with that blonde girl who always made me doubt. She's so much older than me. She's everything I'm insecure about," which to me was always directed at Joshua and his actions, and also her own insecurities, and not Sabrina. But of course, people love to twist shit and find a reason to hate on a woman. 2 weeks later, on January 22nd, 2021, Sabrina announced she left Hollywood Records and had signed with Island Records and released her song Skin. She got a lot of backlash for this song because many people thought it was directed at Olivia and that it was a diss track, specifically because of the lines, "Maybe blonde was the only rhyme," and "Don't drive yourself insane and will always be this way." But she went on to clarify that this song was about multiple situations and was about multiple different people and was never meant to be a diss track. Obviously, there was a lot of momentum from this drama, and there were a lot of people who were listening to Sabrina's music who weren't necessarily fans of hers just for the tea. So this song ended up being Sabrina's first song to enter the Billboard Hot 100. Interestingly enough, there was a track list for Joshua's upcoming EP that was released on Apple Music during the same month, which indicated it would feature a duet with him and Sabrina called We Both Know. He then confirmed this collaboration in an interview and said he slid into her DMs to ask about appearing on the song. He said, "I sent her a quick message and was like, hey, I think you're really awesome and I have this song I think you would sound great on. Let me know what you think." She then responded like 10 minutes later, gave me her number, and I sent her the song. Fortunately, she liked it, so we got together in the studio and it was just a blast to make. I'm really happy with how it all turned out. And then this shit happened, so the song was scrapped and it still has never been officially released. Eventually in the fall, Sabrina releases her single Skinny Dipping, which is the first song for her album Emails I Can't Send, which she would release later. And at this point, although never confirmed exactly when, she and Joshua have presumably broken up. Then on February 11th, 2022, Sabrina reprises her role as Harper in Tall Girl 2, which somehow was a worse movie than the first. Did I watch it? Yes, but only because I got COVID around the time that this movie came out, and I needed anything, something, like literally anything to entertain me after quarantining in my room for over a week. Desperate measures call for no. I'm losing my mind. Desperate times call for desperate measures. But again, Sabrina really brought camp to this movie.
Well, I mean, there's always been a voice, but Nothing like this. I mean, this one, it's just louder, crueler.
Makes you believe all your worst fears and insecurities are true?
Yes. What?
I was afraid this might happen. I prayed it wouldn't, but if only I prayed harder.
A week later, on February 18, she releases Fast Times, the second single for her upcoming album. And then in May, Sabrina did a movie called Emergency, which is her last credited role. Even though this movie wasn't like a big movie, it was still well received by critics, and I believe this kept her booked and busy. I don't know much about this movie other than the fact that Sabrina's character accidentally pepper sprays herself in the face, so slay. Then on July 1st, Sabrina drops Vicious, her next single, and then 2 weeks later on July 15th, Sabrina drops Emails I Can't Send, the first album she recorded with Island Records. This album was super important, not just because it felt like a significant shift in her career because of the label and whatnot, but also because she was kind of reclaiming her own narrative because of the year and a half she had leading up to this album. Very quickly after she released the album, she announced the Emails I Can't Send tour in August, which started in September. Now, Nonsense was the first song off this album to really blow up. I believe it blew up all over TikTok in the fall of 2022 because there was a music video for it released in November, and then there was a holiday version released, and then in 2023, like the early 2023, there were like remixes released for the song. TikTok did help a lot with the song because everyone was doing this little dance on the app, but also Sabrina did this thing at all of her shows where at the end of Nonsense in the outro she would improvise the last few lines. And this got everyone really excited about all her shows and really excited about the song, and so everyone was posting about it on TikTok trying to anticipate what she would improvise next. So TikTok did help, but also this outro improvisation can be seen as like a smart marketing tactic that Sabrina did. During this time, she's starting to get bigger and bigger as an artist, and she was rumored to be on a date with Dylan O'Brien in September 2022, I think, but that was never confirmed. And then in the beginning of 2023, she was rumored to be with Shawn Mendes, which he later shut down. Basically, she was rumored to be with any guy she would breathe the same air as, which means she really made it. Then in March 2023, Sabrina releases the Emails I Can't Send deluxe album, and the song Feather is featured on this album, which becomes Sabrina's next song to really blow up on the internet. With this song, there was also this little dance that Sabrina would do at her shows that people started doing on TikTok, coupled with the fact that it's a really catchy song, so it made sense why it was gaining traction on social media. And even though the deluxe came out in March, she released the music video for Feather in August, which was apparently controversial because she filmed in a church. Like, people were really angry and said that she was being disrespectful even though she got approval beforehand. And when asked about this, she said the same and then said Jesus was a carpenter, which I thought was really cheeky and clever. She then had another dating rumor with David Dobrik in the summer last year, which was really weird because she's friends with his ex Liza Koshy, but also it's David Dobrik. I think she shut that down at Lollapalooza because that was when the rumor was flying around, and then in her Nonsense outro she said, "I don't date Lollapaloozers," so slay. And so around a year ago, Nonsense and Feather had really climbed the charts and she started really blowing up. She performed at the VMAs, she performed at Dick Clark's New Year's Eve, she started opening for Taylor Swift on the Eras tour, and then at the end of 2023 she starts dating actor Barry Keoghan, who is best known for his roles in The Eternals and Saltburn. They confirmed their relationship by attending the Grammys after party in February after being supposedly spotted together a few times before. Then it seemed quite obvious that they were together by social media interactions, Barry attending all her shows, and then also more official events like the Met Gala. Then on April 12th, Sabrina performs at Coachella and also releases the song Espresso, which blows up all over the internet again. Espresso is again a very catchy summery pop song. I also think having a goofy fun line thrown into a song can be a good way to have it gain traction on TikTok, because the line "I'm working late because I'm a singer" has been all over my For You page, and I'm like, yeah, that checks out. And finally, at the beginning of the month, Sabrina released Please 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 with a music video starring her and Barry, and she also announced that her new album Short and Sweet would be coming out on August 23rd. And this song once again is blowing up because it is a catchy summery pop song produced by Jack Antonoff. It also has that viral snippet recipe I was just talking about with the line "Heartbreak is one thing, my ego's another, I beg you don't embarrass me, motherfucker," because that is all over TikTok, all over it. And she made a video with her Hollywood actor boyfriend. Like, of course this was gonna pop off. I feel like it wouldn't be accurate to say that Sabrina Carpenter is now blowing up because she's finally found her sound when she's been making pop music for years. Although I do feel like there is a energy and playfulness to her music that was different than the music she was releasing before. What I will say is not that she found her sound, but that she has improved a lot vocally. I also think having it performed for 10 years now gives her an edge in the sense that she seems very comfortable on stage and she has the sort of confidence that tells you that she's been doing this a long time. I also feel like it's super normal to see a slow burn happen with an artist's success. Like even with Chappell Roan, who's also blowing up right now, she had been making music for a while. Not every artist is going to blow up super quickly, and it's certainly rare to have an artist that blows up on their debut single like Olivia Rodrigo. And all the things that Sabrina has been doing over the last 10 years, like pursuing acting projects, putting out music consistently, and as much as I hate to say it, being part of a huge celebrity internet drama helped her get more and more attention. Don't get me wrong, the driver's license drama is not the most interesting and noteworthy thing about her, and she is so much more than that drama, so please delete your paragraph if you were typing it. I'm interested to see where she goes from here and what her new music will bring. I think she's going to get some sort of Grammy nomination given the year that she's had, but I think she's worked very hard to get to where she is, and it's very cool to see another pop girly in town. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think about Sabrina's evolution and her new stuff in the comments, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already.